Oh, wow, it's another amazing full moon happening. I think it's just like our mantra now because it's like happening all the time. These amazing things are taking place. This full moon coming up on September 7th, 2025 is a total lunar eclipse. Now, it won't be visible everywhere. We'll share more about that later. But just something to kind of set the stage for this is that a total lunar eclipse, for me, I feel like it gives us the experience of an acceleration of time because we start with a full moon, we go to a more or less new moon where the moon's not as visible, it's blacked out by the earth. But then sometimes there's red light, like you see here, there's a total lunar eclipse, the blood moon, and then it goes back to a full moon. And so what usually takes 30 days, 29 and a half days, happens in like a few hours. I think this one's going to be like 5.5 hours. So we get the speeded up effect. So everything that we're going to share with you is like the intentions that we're holding and we're placing on the into our awareness to really work with are going to get accelerated. How cool is that?
That is really cool. And there is a lot of magic with eclipses. And so, we shouldn't dismiss the lunar eclipse that can get sometimes overshadowed by solar eclipses.
Right.
This one is definitely a powerful one, and we're happy to really dive into this and share our thoughts about what you can work with magically and energetically with this particular full moon eclipse.
Yes. Yes. And any full moon is powerful, but you add an eclipse to it and you just supercharge it. And of course, it opens the eclipse window that'll last until the 2 weeks after, September 21st, when there's a partial solar eclipse that takes place. So then we'll be in
Yes.
the energy of that for a couple weeks. Pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
So something about the Pisces energy, and I also associate that with Virgo. So the sun's in Virgo when the moon's in Pisces. So we have a full moon, we have a Virgo sun and a Pisces. So it feels like dream weaving. So Pisces energy being about dreaming, Virgo energy being about weaving. And for what I'm feeling into is how are we dream weaving a more loving, magical world. So all life is love, living in the magic of love. It's like, what if we were living in the magic of love? And I'm really working with that imagery this year, and it's been a lot of fun. So I highly encourage people to consider that you also maybe want to intend that you're living in the magic of love. Because if we have enough of us doing it, then we're going to be living in a magical world in the magic of love.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it's all about choice and how we want to live our life, and do we want to live from a place of uh you know uh anger or hatred or revenge, or do we really want to have a wholesome, healthy life and choose happiness? And it's not about ignoring reality, but it's about spreading that magic of love and happiness around our community, our families, and beyond.
Beautifully
Yeah,
said. Yeah.
thank you. All right. So, yeah, as and this theme of love and magic, one of the great things about Pisces is it's one of its ultimate expressions is that connection to the great unity of all, the creation, the Godhead, the great mystery of all, and kind of unifying that in a way. Saint Augustine wrote, or is quoted in uh, a book from James Hollis called The Eden Project, In Search of the Magical Other. And he writes about love and how St. Augustine wrote about it. Love is wanting the other to be. So it's simply not trying to force anything onto other people, but simply enjoying and embracing the love in yourself and allowing the other to be in that in their own space of love too. So it's expressing that and expanding that out. So Pisces can experience love or feeling beyond the material realm and in the celestial realm. And for Pisces, the dreams of the subconscious are a gateway into the mystical realm within and without. It is a craving of sorts to seek out the celestial realm and the divine unity. Love speaks universally about the soul's desire to return to the womb of creation. Piscean love desires more than the physical other. It is the bridge to that world creation. So, at its highest expression, it transcends 3D reality. Now, there's another chapter to this that we're going to talk about compassion later on, but Pisces wants to merge with that great demiurge of or creation self. So it's not it's the only thing that Pisces wants, so to speak, but it's part of that the desire. And I know this on a personal level with me with I have a Pisces moon and Mars in my chart, and I know Kaylin, you got a Pisces sun. So, those that have some strong Pisces energy in their charts, or maybe some strong Neptunian energy, might have some shades of this, some threads of this that you can connect with and work with on a deep, more feeling level. So the core love of Pisces desires to be whole with the cosmos, with all that is, including all the people and all life. And that can include, like, that's how that happens is also through empathy and compassion too, and through the desire to help others, the desire to be of service. So it comes from a place of not of ego, but from a place of you know uh, just a selflessness.
Yeah.
It's without self. Um, so anyway, I love that we get to have this Pisces total lunar eclipse, and we definitely need a dose of all of this around the world.
We can hope that we're seeding all of this, that will be, maybe we won't see it right away, but hopefully we'll get to see it soon. That,
Yes,
holding that space of love and this intention and compassion and this higher expression, that, yeah, that we'll get to see that manifesting. I mean, I feel like I see it in my life more these days, more and more these days. Uh, I'm not seeing it so much in the world necessarily, but I guess I'm definitely getting to see it in a more personal way. So if we hold that intention, then it might show up first in our life before we get to see it in the greater reality.
yes, yes. It all starts with our individual self. All we can control really is within us, and we can choose that. No one can choose for us. We can choose that which is within, how we respond and react to that. So I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so this is us. There'll be another chart or two that we'll have here, but this is a chart that shows that this Pisces full moon eclipse it trines Jupiter. It's like about a 3.5 degree orb from the trine of this, and I'm sorry, yeah, from the trine of this, it sextiles the sun. But so you see here, Jupiter in Cancer adds to this stronger water energy, compassion, and empathy, and feeling and sensitivity. So, and there's a wonderful thing here because it's in connected into the North Node. It's a North Node eclipse. So there's a lot here that deals with our future, and eclipses have a way of transmitting what is needed in this case, into the future, or what we need to let go of. So there is something powerful here for the world. And if you happen to have, like, for example, this eclipse at 1522 Pisces is 5 degrees from my natal Mars position, for example. And Kaylin, I think it's close to your
It's less than a degree from my son.
yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for those that have like within like if you can use 10 degrees, or you can use the method of the fixed stars of 6 degrees, but either one, you're going to have an impact there. But if you also have something square or opposite, or I mean even to some degree trines, you're going to get this, and sextiles, you're going to get this energy imparted on some level for you.
In
And
a
I think
personal way,
Jupiter,
because you're going to get the
eh,
energy imparted to you from the collective perspective, but there's a more personal aspect that gets added if you have a connection to the eclipse energy.
Yes, yes. Thank you for clarifying that. Absolutely, I agree. Um, so you get to work with it on a deeper personal level if it's definitely in those areas I was just sharing about. And Jupiter expands this. It makes it bigger. It makes it more, I would say, robust. It flows better too in a trine. So there's something really, I think, magical that Jupiter's also helping to transmit to the lunar eclipse.
Absolutely. And I also think because Jupiter is still within 5 degrees of Sirius in its alignment with Sirius, that
Oh, yes.
it's drawing on the magical power of that star. Like for example, the Egyptians saw Sirius as their New Year's star. Like a new time was, when Sirius came back into the sky, which it recently has just done. It's come back into the morning sky. And that's when, before they built the dam, that the Nile would flood and they'd have, all the nutrients and life-giving nourishment would come to the desert at that time. Um, so we could imagine that that energy is also influencing Jupiter, which is influencing the eclipse because it's in that trine to the moon and the north node. And if we think about a north node lunar eclipse, then the moon is the past, can represent the past, and the north node represents the future. So I loved what you just said, Eric, about how we can complete with the past in ways that help us move to our future destiny. So that's another
Yes.
amazing possibility here. And Jupiter's there just to help expand the vision and what can happen in the flow of how we can flow into that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, each eclipse is powerful in and of itself, and each one has its own unique signature around this, and so we're showing different slides that show different qualities of this, or that can the theme of this, and what this eclipse is really about, metaphysically, spiritually, shamanically, and collectively and personally. So we get to all work with that in that way.
Beautiful.
All right. So let's talk about more about Pisces. And this is, please,
Yeah,
nail it.
so this is just a sky map that shows you where the full moon eclipse is taking place. It's in the constellation, and I can't believe I forgot to put in the name of the constellation, is the Water Bearer. It's also known as Aquarius, but people get confused. So we call because it's a Pisces eclipse in the Water Bearer. So it's
Right.
having that energy connected as well. I mean, it's like and as we'll see a little later, you can see how it's like in the water flowing from the jar of the water bearer. But if we think of
Yep.
the essence of Pisces, like what's really the true essence of Pisces, we could just sum it up in it's loving, it's caring, it's empathic, it's intuitive, it's imaginative. We could also say compassionate. And the shadow side is like it could be a victim, it could be have a lot of illusions, it could be checked out, like, it's this world is too much, I can't deal with it. I feel everything everybody's feeling. I need to go hide. Right? I've had those moments. Over giving or giving to get, like if I give enough, maybe I'll get something back. And really the essence of Pisces is not about giving to get something back. It's about giving because it's selfless. It's a selfless service. So we could say that Pisces is first ideally learns to heal thyself. If you want to show up to help and heal others, you've got to be healed within yourself. You need to be whole within yourself.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you're giving from, an empty vessel, well, or one that's being drained, and it's not going to last. It's not going to be sustainable. And then, of course, dreaming into a kind, caring, shared reality. We've kind of talked about that already. Selfless service to the divine. And that can look in a lot of different ways, how we show up with that selfless service to some aspect of the divine of this reality, this creation. Embracing life in all its dimensions, because I think Pisces has multidimensional accessibility to other possibilities and other realms, other dimensions that aren't necessarily always visible to everybody. But Piscean people tend to have that ability to do that. And then, of course, helping and healing all wounds and feeling the full range of grief, sorrow, rage, excitement, enthusiasm, and joy. That is part of the Pisces journey. So it's like, oh, and also getting to be empathic and feel other people's feelings. Oh, great. Like if you're learning how to feel, if this is what you're learning how to do in this life, that can feel very challenging. And I'm here to tell you it has been very challenging for me because I come from a lineage that's not about feeling. And so realizing that I was feeling everybody's feelings and sometimes thinking they were my feelings was a big, important piece for me. And recognizing how the Pisces energy was working in my life. And also to then go, okay, I need to not take on everybody's feelings. I need to have some boundaries within my own self to be able to have an experience of what life is for me and not for everybody else. Anyway, and as I said in this Pisces full moon eclipse and in the water bear, the water bearing having a visionary aspect to it, Pisces having the healing aspect to it. So we put those two things together and we could say this is a visionary pouring of the healing waters toward all to our
Yeah.
towards all of us. So how cool is that?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So, Pisces is, um, along with Cancer, they're arguably the most sensitive, feeling function signs, and we could take on, the feelings of those that we connect with, family, community, but also from like even just on the world stage, we can feel what's going on, and we might sometimes lose ourselves into that space. And so it's a matter of us being able to differentiate. Are they our feelings, or are they someone else's feelings? Or, that's a challenge that, Pisces people have, or not just Pisces suns, but obviously those that like Moon and Mars, like I do, and others out there.
Rising or even Jupiter in Pisces or
Yes,
yeah,
you
Mercury
could
in Pisces,
certainly,
all of that. Yeah, that
absolutely.
it definitely can
Yeah,
be challenging.
yeah, absolutely. So that's part of it, and but in its highest state, it can, as Caitlin pointed out about Pisces' essence of loving, caring, empathic, intuitive, imaginative, of course, and compassionate too. I love that you've these bullet points. I think they really highlight the main things that Pisces qualities can shine in and help out in the world. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, and you and I definitely share the Pisces, like the love and the compassion and all of that, and also the challenges of like, oh my God, that's too much. I need to retreat for a little while because I'm taking on way too much of everybody else's or what's going on in the world or whatever that is. So just to know
Hmm.
that that's okay. You don't always
Yeah.
be out there feeling or having compassion for everything that's going on. It's okay to enjoy your life. Step back.
Yes. Yeah. Decompress. Drain out that overwhelmment of all those feelings from others, and recharge yourself from all of that. Um, all right, so let's look at some night sky stuff here,
A
Caitlin.
little bit more. So yes, you can see in the you can see, I did put the water bear in here, haha, so that's good.
Oh,
That
hang on.
the moon is above a star called Anka in a constellation called the Phoenix. And it's at 1551 Pisces, so it's like right there with that full moon, that energy. Those two things are really connected, and so the moon will be transmitting energy that this star represents and also this constellation represents. And so if we and this star happens to be the brightest star in the Phoenix, and literally Anka, I think that's how you say it, means the Phoenix in Arabic. So
Mm.
And you can see, I don't know if you can, if it's quite clear enough to see, but it's in the head of the phoenix bird. That
Yes, I see. Yeah, I see it.
yeah. So, so we can imagine that, the phoenix, also known as the firebird, is symbolizing transformation and change and renewal and letting go of the old to embrace the new, because the phoenix dives into the fire and gets transformed and then rises back up, renewed and regenerated and reactivated into a whole new expression. So this is also energy that's connected to this total lunar eclipse. So amazing. And if we think of the phoenix as it's diving, it's letting go of its old self, its old um, way of seeing itself or identity as it's diving into the flames. And then it's taking a necessary step to achieve new growth and embrace a fresh start. So we could imagine this is a great time to have the intention that if there are things that you're ready to let go of, this is a great full moon eclipse energy to do that, to begin that process, to have that intention. And then we have Arshanar, uh, the this it's spelled different ways, so it's on the map. It's spelled a little bit different, but I think it's Arshanar is the way that I'm most familiar with. Is that 1541 Pisces? So within minutes also of this total lunar eclipse. So this is another energy that's being present, and it's at the end of the river of the constellation Eridanus. Eridanus is this long constellation river that kind of flows through a bunch of other constellations, and it's right underneath the Phoenix, where the end of the river is considered to be. And so, and the brightest star in Eridanus as well, and the ninth brightest star in our night sky. So so it's definitely something that can be seen if it's above the horizon, if you can see it above the horizon. And I think you have to be like 33 degrees north latitude. If you're further north than that, you will not see this star. I live at 32 degrees north latitude, so I have seen it. I think you were mentioning you saw it too, Eric.
Yeah, I saw it in Bisbee, Arizona, which is just a little bit south of Tucson, um, latitude wise. So yeah, I have seen it there. And I don't know, I'm sure that I saw Anka, but I didn't necessarily recognize it.
Right.
Because I rarely see those stars,
You're so
especially where
far
I
north.
live at 42 degrees north latitude here.
Right.
Yeah,
So not in your purview over there, right there. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that
But
people
yeah, the Eridanus constellation, as Kaylin, you were pointing out, it's plays a huge role in a lot of the stories of from ancient times.
Yes. Yes, and in fact, it's the river Eridanus where Cygnus, who I guess this was before he was turned into a swan, he was trying to save a friend of his, he got wounded and fell into the river. And then Zeus, and through his compassion, decides that Cygnus, he's going to turn it into a swan. And so then we have this constellation, Cygnus the Swan, which is not visible here. It was placed somewhere else in the sky, but this was one of the star in one of the stars in Cygnus is in the stellar triangle that is called the Summer Triangle, also called the Navigator's Triangle, and that we're calling the stellar gateway to our divine destiny. So
Yes.
anyway, it's kind of cool that that plays into the story because this is a North Node eclipse that has to do with destiny. All these factors seem to be kind of interweaving together. And we could imagine that these stars are adding to this highly transformative energy of this eclipse. So just having this awareness and inviting that energy to be present to help us with that transformation is really what we want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
To do it, of course.
Thank
No
you. Yeah,
pressure.
this is great.
I'm choosing. I'm definitely choosing it.
And something to note about the Phoenix, I don't know if I haven't really read anything specific about this, but when I was traveling recently, there was a some one of the channels was playing Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and in that movie towards the end, the phoenix, an actual magical bird in the movie, uh, healed Harry Potter's wound through its tears. I think
Yes.
that that's pretty symbolic of the Pisces energy in
Yes.
particular. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that you just saw that. How synchronistic.
Yeah, I was not expecting like, before you put this slide up some days ago, I was not expecting you to do that. And I was like, oh, I don't mind watching a little clip of this, just tuning in on kind of my downtime in between things and readings that I'm doing out on the road. So that was kind of cool
I
to
love
see
how the
that.
universe can give us messages and like as a synchronicity and a reinforcement of like something we're tuning into already, because that feels like such a beautiful confirmation of what we're talking about here.
Yeah, it's totally apropos. Like it's
Right
boom,
on.
right on target
Right
there.
on.
Yeah. Okay. Oops. There we go. So more about the sky here. This is just another image of it. You can see it's a little bit used different program here. So in this, I wanted to point out in this, one of the things, the shadow, because the full moon is really, really bright and it will outshine a lot of stars nearby. But once the Earth's shadow covers it, for those that are able to see it, which we're going to get into here in a few minutes, the star Fomalhaut will come out, which is at about 3 degrees, 4 degrees Pisces. I don't have it. I should have, I should have put the degrees on there when I made this, but I wanted to point that out because it plays a role, I think, and maybe is part of the language here. But here's the
And one of the four
uh,
royal
uh,
stars too.
yes, and
Oh,
one of the
so
four
an
royal stars.
important
Thank you.
star. Yes.
An important star. And south of this, like it's off the screen here, but the Phoenix is, in fact, it's if you look right at the bottom, there's Anka. I didn't even realize that, but
Oh, there you
Anka's
go. Ha.
sitting right there.
Love
Um,
that.
so you can see that way on the bottom here where my mouse cursor is. So the eclipse occurs in the falling water from the water bearer's urn. This symbolizes the cosmic wisdom and knowledge cascading down to Earth and humanity. And Caitlin pointed out earlier with the waters of compassion from the urn as well. So it's like think of it as the cosmic knowledge from the stars is pouring down to humanity and to the Earth. And for an eclipse to take place right in that stream there, the cosmic stream, there's a layer of this where if we're really, for some of us, we may have maybe a consciousness of like tuning in through meditation or journeying on that day, which this eclipse is on a Sunday, so maybe many of you can have more time to with which to work with this. Um, so this is a great space with which to tune into the eclipse and maybe there could be some transmissions of knowledge and wisdom. And it's uh,
Especially if we're open to receive them. If and we have that
yeah,
in, then we're more likely to get that. Yeah. It
absolutely,
happen
yeah.
anyway. I don't have the intent, but
We may not be conscious of it, but it can
why not?
happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Um,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Eric. I just one more thing I want
no,
to
just to point out, like, if you're, especially when the shadow goes over the moon and it kind of dims the brightness of it, you're seeing and we're going to talk about this, all the sunsets and sunrises that are being projected from Earth onto the moon. And as that happens, you may be able, if you're really under dark skies, you can see the water bearer and the fish and Pegasus and the goatfish and some of these other constellations more visibly on one of those rare times where the full moon is not as bright for some hours during the full moon process. The
yes,
eclipse, I'm sorry, the eclipse
yeah,
uh, duration.
right. Love that. Okay, so just to note where Pegasus is, because we're going to talk about, we're going to have an image of Pegasus a little bit later, but to see that this full moon is literally underneath some of the stars of Pegasus, the constellation Pegasus. And also Neptune and Saturn are also underneath the stars of Pegasus and in the fish. And Neptune is in uh, Pisces. Saturn's just returned to Aries. Oh, I mean,
Yes.
yeah, I think that's the way I
No,
think.
Saturn's just returned to Pisces,
And
Neptune's
Neptune's
in
about to
Aries.
return to Pisces. Yeah, in
Yeah.
October. Yeah. So
Right. Neptune will be, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they're in the fish. So you can see that they're very close to that equinox point where the zero Aries point is with, Saturn has already gone past back 1 degree from that, and then Neptune's getting ready to cross that again. So this was one of the things that's like the big deal of 2025 and 2026 is the passing of Saturn and Neptune over that zero Aries point 3 times, and
Mhm.
they'll be the last pass will be in February of 2026. So this eclipse then is in a sense an opportunity to start tuning into how is that what is that, how are we manifesting this in our world, in our reality.
Yeah, yeah. It's in fact Saturn will reach its opposition with the sun on the 20th of September. And so you can see it's almost at that point. I mean, you're getting the full moon relatively close. So just about 2 weeks. And why I bring that up is because you Saturn will be at its brightest at the opposition. So we might be able to tune in more practically because it'll be visible throughout the night.
And it's
And
opposite
knowing
that.
that,
Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, and knowing that Neptune is not, you can't see Neptune with the naked eye except if you have like really good binoculars or a small telescope. But know that Neptune is there. It's just super close to Saturn, and so you can tune into both planets,
Yeah.
even though you can't see Neptune right there in the right at the border of Aries and Pisces and in the Fish constellation there.
I love you bringing this in because the new moon partial solar eclipse on September 21st, so the next day. So definitely that sun opposition and it's like a full moon effect for Saturn happening at that.
Yeah,
And yeah, so Saturn's brightest, it's most visible, and it's the planet that's really about how we are taking our visions and the possibilities and dreams and everything that we're, um, playing with now and imagining, and then how do we bring it into form? Saturn helps with that.
indeed, indeed, yeah. Yeah, so this is so even though the eclipse is not quite, conjunct, it's about 15-ish, 14 to 15 degrees away. There's still there's still a little bit of energy that's being transmitted there. As an astrologer, I would certainly say
Well,
that and as part of our initiation here with the
yeah,
eclipse.
this is opening the eclipse window, and that eclipse on the 21st is at 29 degrees Virgo, so, and Neptune and Saturn being around 29 degrees Pisces, there's that opposition
Yeah.
happening. I mean, Neptune won't have gone back into Pisces yet, but it's so close.
It's super close. In fact, um, obviously this is a longer conversation, but where the Saturn Neptune, because I'm doing a September YouTube video, I'm almost done with creating the slides for it, but the Neptune Sun opposition, Neptune will be at 0045 Aries, and the February 20th, 2026 conjunction between Saturn and Neptune is at 0045 Aries. So there's a massive transmission that's happening in this eclipse season in the middle of all that, including this is the beginning of like the center of all this eclipse season here that we're talking about here in this video is directly connected to what's going on with Saturn and Neptune oppositions and how the exact conjunction between those two planets, Saturn and Neptune, take place in February 20th, 2026. So we're getting there could be some, in the month of September here, some insights about how it could go in February of next year.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like it's preparing the stage.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
beautiful.
Um, Okay, so all right, here. So, this is from Dane Brajar's book, Astrological Signs, The Pulse of Life. It's out of print, but there are, you can find it elsewhere. And there's another author that I think he took it upon himself to write some or republish some of his of Dane Brajar's works. But anyway, in this, he looks at the signs as a cyclical process through the zodiac. And so when he gets to Pisces at the end of the zodiac, the Piscean, he writes about the Piscean desire to transcend. Loving compassion must direct the movement toward wholeness. So the eclipse and cosmic compassion. So he writes that in its highest and most spiritual aspect, Pisces reveals itself as pure compassion. Compassion is the absolute law of the universe in which there is order and harmony. Compassion is the heart of reality because reality is based on the experience of organic wholeness. And he who truly experiences all things as organic wholes cannot fail to see himself as part of some greater whole, however much he may have attained integral wholeness in his own being. So there's in the personal wholeness, but then there's the greater wholeness with something what I was talking about with the unity and the connection with the divine. It's that you could say loving compassion, the greater compassion of all that is. And this quote's taken from page 131 in Astrological Science book. So and Dane Rajar is very philosophical, metaphysical, and spiritual, and he's considered the founder of being a humanistic astrologer. So um, Kaylin, any thoughts about this?
I love this so much because it just fits so beautifully in with everything we've been saying, and it feels like another one of those, like a punctuation point or an affirmation or confirmation of what this is all about. And yeah, it's just so great what Dane Rajar, um, the wisdom that he left us, and I'm really happy you brought that in.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Really is it's amazing. Yeah, every time I reread some of his material, it just gives me additional insights into astrology and meaning and new kinds layers of truths that when I first read it didn't quite compute to me at the time, and so each time I read it, it's not just like returning to an old friend, but also getting new wisdom from there.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's so good. I love it. Yep.
All right, so let's talk about the this eclipse.
So
Um,
yeah, this is just showing you where, like, in the center part is where totality will be visible. Now there's places where the eclipse will be partially visible, not completely visible. It'll in some places it'll be starting to be eclipsed as the moon is rising. In other places you'll see the eclipse is going on as the moon is setting, and then there's other places where you're not seeing it at all. Unfortunately, Eric and I don't get to see it here in the US, but if you're in Antarctica, Asia, Russia, Africa, Oceania, and Europe, you may have a chance to see at least part of this eclipse, depending on whether you have clear skies or not, as well. That's the other factor.
right. Yeah. There is a sliver in the next slide. It even shows it here on time. You got this from Time and Date, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's a great. By the way, for people that love some astronomical stuff and how it ties into the astrology as far as like getting things like this and when things rise and set and time durations, timeanddate.com is it's a
So
free
good.
website. It's really awesome to get some really just solid basic information that everyone should be able to have access to. So
There'll be a link
um
to it in the show notes as
yeah,
well. Is it?
but look at and I Caitlin, you feel free to jump in, but look at
Okay.
just a sliver of Brazil
Right.
gets a slight amount of the I think they get that would be like probably right at sunset then that they might be able to see it, the eclipse. or just after sunset and maybe get like a little bit of that, or was it sunrise? Might be sunrise.
And moonrise because it's
Oh,
like
moonrise. Sorry. Yes.
yeah. So
Yeah,
so probably
moonrise.
just a little bit of it at moonrise, or maybe as the moon is setting. Well, see, I'll have to think about that. No, it has to be moonrise.
Would
Um,
have to be moonrise. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So but it might be at the time of moonrise for them, the eclipse is almost over. So that's why they only get to see a little bit of it because it's going to start at, a certain time. It's going to be more like a few hours ahead of where they are. So the overall duration of this eclipse is 5 hours and 27 minutes. So again, that whole idea that we're witnessing going from a full moon to different phases of the moon back to a full moon in 5 hours and 27 minutes, something that usually takes 29 and a half days. So it's
Right.
accelerated.
It's absolutely.
Yeah. So
So they won't see the full eclipse. They'll just see a partial, right? Just a
yeah,
partial
they're only going to
over
see
there.
they'll see the end of it's like the the earth comes between the sun and the moon, and it's the shadow of the earth on that eclipse. So that's why the moon is getting blocked from the light of the sun. And it's because the sun, the earth, and the moon are in a certain alignment, but basically it's the earth's shadow on the face of the moon. And so that'll have moved, it's moving away and completing at the time that they're seeing this moonrise.
Yeah.
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 The rest of
Even
us will already be done. By the time the moon
yeah,
rises,
there
where we are, it's done. Yeah.
yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it does show Alaska. I'm wondering, oh yeah, because yeah, it does have a line that goes through part of Alaska here too in
Right.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, and the totality, meaning this blood red moon will be in totality for an hour and 22 minutes. That's a long time before you start to see the light um of the moon returning. Like that little, the little sliver of light is so fun to see. If you get a chance to see it, I highly recommend it. And then more and more and more of it as the shadow of the earth moves off the face of the moon. Um, so I love, I've seen a lot of total lunar eclipses. Seeing total solar eclipses is a little trickier.
Yes.
Because they're not always happening in your backyard. Like, this one's not happening in my backyard, so I won't get to see it. But yeah,
But it covers more of the Earth. Like more of the population of the planet is going to be able to see this. Whereas a solar eclipse, it's really a much smaller,
right.
depending on what region it's hitting, it's really a smaller slice of the population that
But
gets to
and
see
a
it.
totality for a solar eclipse can be anywhere from 2 to 6 minutes. So that's
Yes.
how much faster like the moon is moving between the Earth and the sun. And so that's why we get a total solar eclipse. And it moves a lot quicker than the Earth moving between the sun and the moon. So
Yeah. 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 100%. Um, all right. Well, let's talk about the nakshatras.
that's good. Okay, so this is showing this star map again of where the moon is at the eclipse at 1522 Pisces. And it's just inside this nakshatra that we're going to be talking about, the Purva Bhadrapa Pada. Anyway, uh, and then Saturn's just outside. Saturn and Neptune are just outside of that nakshatra. So yeah, so it's just interesting to bring in this energy because when we go to the next slide, we'll see that this is the winged horse. And remember, I was pointing out Pegasus above where the moon is. Yeah. Um, that it really is connected to the winged horse. So they must have known that, or they must have had a sense of a winged horse for this nakshatra. And it also includes a couple of the stars from Pegasus, Markab, and Shiat. are stars in Pegasus, and Markab is the star of honors and success, and Shat is the star of itinerary and poetic ability. It's also linked with the ancient fire dragon, the unicorn, which is can be like a winged horse also, and Shiva and Rudra, god of storms. So it's about the power of breathing spiritual fire. I find that fascinating because, of course, it's really in a watery realm, but also there's this. You see this dragon is coming up out of the water and it's breathing fire. So somehow there must be a
Mm.
connection between those two. Rising from the ashes like the phoenix, to awaken, known for its ability to transcend the material world and connect with divine consciousness, which is a lot of what we've been talking about in terms of the Piscean divine, serve in service to the divine, but also in connection to the divine. And so the energy of this nakshatra is peace loving, intelligent, impartial, spiritually motivated, idealistic, non-conforming. The shadow side is fearful, nervous, and cynical. So we want to bring in the energy of peace loving and intelligent and spiritually motivated and all of that. The presiding deities are Aja, Akapada, and Shiva and Rudra, and they're all associated with firestorms, lightning, and the cosmic pillar of the universe, symbolizing transformation and spiritual intensity. So we could imagine that this eclipse, North Node total lunar eclipse in Pisces, is energizing this spiritual intensity because of where it's located in the sky. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and I mean, that spiritual intensity is definitely a very fiery type of expression there. So I love this. Um, all right. So, any other thoughts about the nakshatra?
I feel complete. Unless you have any other thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, no, this is, I mean, it's interesting that it brings in some of the symbols of the actual constellations that are there, like Pegasus, the winged horse, and the phoenix. So that I mean, it makes total sense to me. It really draws in that area of the sky really well.
Yeah, beautiful.
Um, this Sabian symbol, which I like to bring in when talking about full moons and new moons. But you can use for other various things when you want to. So this one is because the full moon in eclipse in Pisces is at 1522 Pisces. It's a Sabian symbol 16 Pisces, which is a quiet moment, a creative individual experiences the flow of inspiration, which is also inspiration can also be interpreted related to fire. Um, Keywords include reactivity, inspired from above, realizations, dreams, channeling thoughts and feelings, messages from one's higher self, finding solutions, moment of calm leading to resolutions, free-flowing thoughts, the gift of inspiration, turning on the tap of creativity, and blockages unblocked. And this is from Linda Hill's Sabian Oracle book, which she draws from Dane Wajar and Mark Edmund Jones and their work in creating the Sabian symbols. Uh, so interpretation that I feel is like it's pretty self-evident here. The flip side can also be becoming lost in the inspiration, new visions, perhaps losing track of time and reality, which Pisces can certainly be famous for too. Though in a way, an eclipse does this all on its own. So it's like you can get into the surreal experience of this eclipse that can just draw you out of the regular linear time and space and pull you into this other cosmic realm for a while. And that in this eclipse can certainly bring in, creative individual experiences and inspiration. So it's each person's going to have their own unique response to that. And so I love how what the symbolism of this particular eclipse is showing up as.
Everything about this eclipse, the Sabian symbols, the nakshatras, everything about it is just so So inspiring and worthy of our time and our attention to tune into. To at least go out and be with the full moon. If you can't see the eclipse, just go be with the full moon and just get the transmission because it is the moon transmits directly and it will still be carrying the energy of the eclipse even if you didn't get to see it. Um, so,
Yes.
yep.
Yeah, 100% there.
So we're
All
going to
right.
wrap this up. Uh, and it's interesting. I'll just share really quickly. Two people sent me something about Osho and their connection to Osho in the last few days. And then this popped up in my memories, and I was like, oh, I think Osho really wants to have a say. And it's such a perfect way to wrap up the what we've been everything we've been talking, kind of sum it up in this beautiful quote that says, "Love is the most healing force in the world. Nothing goes deeper than love. It heals not only the body, not only the mind, but also the soul. If one can love, then all one's wounds disappear. Then one becomes whole, and to be whole is to be holy."
Mm,
Just so good. And you may remember that Eric was talking about what was that quote? It was from with Dana Jar or something, the wholeness and being whole and all of that. So it's like, okay, to be whole is to be holy.
yeah. And the wholeness bridges oneself to the greater wholeness of the cosmos. So this brings that together pretty well, wraps this up really, really well. And especially around the Pisces archetype and how Pisces is at the end of this Ouroboros zodiacal circle of the cosmos and coming into the fullness of all that is. And it's a full moon on top of that, which is an eclipse and the layers upon layers that are confirming for each other. So this is, most powerful a time for I think not just humanity, but for each of us that get to not if you even if you can't see this eclipse, we're going to be in the energy of it. Particularly on that day, but in this eclipse season of September is huge.
It's so big, yes. So hopefully this inspires you to recognize what's happening with the opening of this eclipse portal on September 7th, and that you'll at least be able to go out and see the full moon and to tune in and to see what's present for you, and that how we can then all be energizing the power of love to change the world. So here's to a
Well,
love experience with this total lunar eclipse full moon.
absolutely. All right. Well, thank you all for being here, for watching this, and we're looking forward to doing more of these full moon videos with you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Happy eclipse watching.